The people of London felt that no one in Frankfort, in their state government, in our law enforcement apparatus, cared what happened to them.
Attorney General Russell Coleman says he wanted to publicly talk about London Mayor Randall Weddle's indictment because the allegations have been circulating for years. The indictment says Mayor Weddle donated tens of thousands of dollars to the Andy Beshear for Governor campaign and Kentucky Democratic Party in December 2022. These are Class D felonies.
One of the many responsibilities of the Office of the Attorney General is to investigate and prosecute election law violations in our Commonwealth.
In a statement to WKYT, Mayor Weddle's attorney says it is particularly ironic that the people who scream about election interference are now using it themselves. He also added it was disturbing this indictment came 6 weeks before an election.
Just as any criminal case, the charges in this indictment are allegations, and Mr. Weddle is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Governor Beshear's campaign manager and Weddle's attorney say the excessive contributions were reported to the Kentucky Registry of Election Finance and fully refunded. Weddle's attorney says it is disappointing the Attorney General sought an indictment on 3-year-old public records.
I'm standing here to reassure you that the rule of law applies to all 120 counties.
In Frankfort, Madison Carmouche, WKYT.